Close your eyes and listen to the sounds my students hear when they stand near the forest just below our art classroom windows. Listen. Can you also imagine the feeling of walking in the hot sunshine and coming to stand or sit here in the shade of the trees? There is a gentle breeze blowing. You hear it rustling through the leaves and you feel it on your skin, in your hair. You are sitting or kneeling or standing on the grass. This feels different from the concrete floors and paths. The sun is behind you. You can feel this on your back, and the tree shade covers you and you feel its coolness on you. You can hear the stream in the small wooded gully. You can hear the birds somewhere in the trees above you and further away. There are children playing somewhere. Occasionally you can hear traffic passing by the school, some cars, a truck or tractor. You hear them in your left ear. 2 minutes have passed. Now you can open your eyes. When you do, everything is green. You can see the tree leaves flickering in the breeze, and you notice the huge variety of greens. And where the bright sunlight touches the trees, the leaves are bright and yellowish. Maybe you can also see the stream below you. Maybe too, you can smell the moist, cool ground, and perhaps there is the faint scent of flowers. Nature fills your mind and feelings. Another 2 minutes have passed. Now the teacher says you can move. You stretch a bit because you are slightly stiff from keeping so still, and now you can look for a comfortable place to sit down and start creating your art, something that expresses or responds to what you have sensed, absorbed, observed, felt. In this video, I'm going to give one example of how I use mindfulness activities in my art program. These opening scenes of a green forest and stream are from my school, which is a small, private, bilingual elementary school in Gdynia in Poland. We have about 360 students aged 6 to 14 years, and our 2 teaching buildings are separated by this stream and the wild forest, home to numerous birds, squirrels, and occasional foxes and deer. The stream carries water from the forested hills behind the school, down through Gdynia and finally into the Baltic Sea. The mindfulness activity I want to share with you took place during an art lesson with my 4th graders at the end of the academic year, at a time when the gully was bright green with spring growth and many of the children were turning 11. Achieving a state of mindfulness is difficult enough for adults, let alone young children. While I strongly believe in the value of mindfulness experiences, I have become quite selective in how I use them during lessons. I believe that most young students need a concrete experience to focus on to help them achieve their state of mindfulness. Therefore, I only try this when we're outdoors, either in the school grounds or on a field trip, when a deep, reflective and meditative experience of the environment or their surroundings is necessary to help them achieve a new mode of self-expression in their art. Therefore, I see the educative role of mindfulness activities lies in enabling students to have a deepened sensory awareness with an expressive outcome that they can reflect on afterwards, and thus aid their personal development. Recently, I was rereading Victor Lowenfeld's important pedagogical text, Creative and Mental Growth, which he originally penned in 1947. I had first read this book during my postgrad teaching diploma studies many decades ago, and I was intrigued to see how many of Lowenfeld's ideas had become woven through my teaching practice, even though I had long ago forgotten the origins of those threads. One of these threads is deeply pertinent to my approach to mindfulness and my adherence to a student-centered, free choice methodology. Lowenfeld espoused the benefits of the classroom teacher providing subject matter starting points. He used the word motivations, and I use the word challenges for groups of students. But he was careful to make a distinction between subject matter and mode of expression. When he said that there is a positive value in the teacher using classroom motivations, where the whole class is motivated by one experience, but only when the children have freedom to use their own modes of expression. For in these circumstances, each child's art expression becomes an integral part of their life and personal development. In other videos, I have discussed how important this expressive free choice is as an antidote to COVID-related anxiety among children and youth. In the present example, the 5 minutes of mindfulness attention to the sounds, feelings, scents and sights of our wild forest and stream comprise the classroom motivation, and the students' freedom to decide how they will express or respond to the sensations, observations or feelings is an instance of the freedom to use their own modes of expression. Here's the activity. In the classroom, I give a brief introduction to what we're going to do and how this activity will help them grow their personal creativity. The things I emphasize before we leave the room are, first, don't decide now what you're going to do. I want you to remain open until you have done the first 5-minute activity. Second, you may take outside any art materials you feel like using today. After the first 5-minute activity outside, you might change your mind and you can come back to the classroom to collect other materials. Third, what are we going to do in the first 5 minutes and why? Now, I do not call this a mindfulness activity with my students. Why? On one level, naming it is irrelevant because the experience is what matters. On another level, I know from my colleagues who have tried mindfulness sessions in their classrooms that students have found it very difficult to concentrate, and the teachers have been dissatisfied with the whole thing. So I don't tell the student we're doing a mindfulness activity because I want them to be open and curious about what will happen. This is how I explain what we're going to do in that first 5 minutes. We are going outside and we're going to line up along the fence next to the forest, just here, outside our windows. We are going to face the forest. I want you to find a place anywhere along that fence line, and you must be spaced at least 1 meter apart from each other. You may stand or sit or kneel. Just get comfortable. When we are ready, you will close your eyes and use your senses, listening, feeling, hearing, to absorb and notice everything around you. Concentrate on the forest in front of you. We'll do this for about 2 minutes. Then I will tell you to open your eyes. You must stay still, stay in the same place. Now you are using your eyes to absorb and observe nature, and you are also still using your hearing, your feelings, and your sense of smell. Be open to nature. I will tell you when our time is finished, and then you can move to any position you wish to create your art. This is today's challenge, to create an artwork that responds to what you absorb and observe and feel during the first 5-minute activity. You have free choice about what you do and how you do it. You may work in any style, any art materials you want, and you may work alone or in groups. It's your choice. When you have finished your artwork, please bring it to me. When this student brought me their artwork, they explained that while standing by the forest with their eyes closed, they heard a truck drive past the school, and this is what they felt. I watched this student recruit a small group of her classmates to help her find objects and materials she could use from the environment for their mixed media collage. Their mode of expression was partly social and partly artistic, with a focus on experimentation. This student's mode of expression reveals her emerging interest in close observation and what Lowenfeld describes as the pseudo-naturalistic or realism stage, typical in 11 to 14-year-olds. Notice the attention to pictorial detail in the careful rendering of individual leaves and flowers, combined with gestural drawing to express the energy and sounds of the wind. This group of students found a shaded spot under a tree to collaborate on their drawing that combined direct, schematic representations of things they had observed with characters and qualities drawn from their imaginations and from games. Like the group that worked on the collage of found materials, these students chose a social mode of artistic expression that gave each room for their individual imagination and that also bound them more closely as a social group. Their ability to take game imagery and characters and morph them with natural features they had observed in their surroundings shows by moving beyond a disconnected repetition of stereotypes, they have adjusted to the new situation of experiencing the world through mindfulness to create imagery that is personally meaningful to them and that connects or integrates three realms: their imaginary world, their observations and sensory experiences of the external world, and the realm of their social connections.